Josh Baumgartner with the Greater Tampa Chamber of Commerce. I want to thank the viewers and welcome to our candidate interview process. We are now in the general election for our candidate interviews. We are interviewing candidates, and we've extended invites to candidates that won their respective primaries, are no party affiliate, or are in the Green Party. We'll be touching on some familiar topics this round. We'll be asking some new questions, and we'll be taking a deeper dive into some of the responses. We're excited to have Angela Birdsong with us today. She's running as Democrat candidate for County Commission District 2. Thanks for joining us, Angela.
Good morning, and excuse me, and thanks again for having me. I really appreciate the Greater Tampa Chamber of Commerce for extending this opportunity for us candidates to speak to the community.
Absolutely. So we're through the primary, and congrats on that. So what's the message you're wanting to deliver to voters here in the last few weeks of the campaign?
Well, thank you so much again for this forum. And what people are really excited about as I'm in the community is they're really fed up with county commissioners that are taking money from developers. So they are excited about having a change. They don't like the idea of county commissioners flipping seats in order to stay on the board. So they feel that once a county commissioner has been on the board for 8 years and their term has ended, they should basically go on to something else. So like the person that I'm running against, Ken Hagan, he's done this already twice. The other thing they're not excited about is giving $900 million of our taxpayer dollars to millionaires and billionaires. So people love the idea of having baseball coming over to Tampa, but they just don't want taxpayer dollars going towards that.
Great. Well, thanks for that. And you mentioned tax dollars and wanting to make sure that we're protecting the taxpayers in the community. The first round, we talked about a potential sales tax increase, and that was the transportation referendum, which we'll get to in a minute. But now voters in Hillsborough County are going to have another sales tax referendum on the ballot, and that's for education. And while I know that's in the wheelhouse of the school board, as a county commissioner, you would be involved in some of those discussions as well. So with the half-cent sales tax increase for education to fund some of those capital needs that our school system needs, is that something that you support? If yes, how would you hope to see that the school board uses those increased revenues for the needs at HCPS?
Okay, I do want to put a slight disclaimer that the Board of County Commissioners doesn't have jurisdiction over the school board issues. However, if you just want to know my opinion, I am in favor of that referendum. I'm very angry that a lot of our classrooms are just hot. I ran into a parent and she said that her child's average temperature is 80 degrees. So how can we expect our children to function? I mean, even if you and I were in an office at that temperature, it would be hard to concentrate on what we're doing during the day. So along with the other improvements that our school system needs, it's a no-brainer. I think we've got to do something to improve our schools. And of course, when people think about moving to this area, when companies think about moving to our area, they are going to look at the school system. So it's a very important referendum, 100% for it.
Great. I want to talk about the Homestead exemption a little bit. If voters approve the Homestead exemption increase in November, there's going to be a loss to county revenue. It's certainly going to hit the budget. Some estimates are anywhere from $28 to $30 million annually, and that's a big piece of the funding pie. As a county commissioner, one of your biggest responsibilities is that budget. So how would you reprioritize dollars if there was a loss of $28 to $30 million due to the Homestead exemption increase?
Well, unfortunately, it's looking like the Homestead exemption is probably going to pass, and the referendum for the school system and for transportation may not pass. So we are definitely looking at a deficit. We are just going to have to reorganize the entire budget and look at ways that we can skim in some places. And I'm really looking forward to having some county commissioners who have a heart for the people as opposed to having a heart for developers. So I'm really looking forward to working with the county commissioners that will be there and how we're going to work to ensure that our community has the funds that it needs. And we'll just have to work on it, get in there and work on it with the funds that we have available to us.
Great. I want to talk home rule a little bit and talk about our legislature in Tallahassee. Local governments have been critical of the legislature in recent years, suggesting that there's a Tallahassee knows best mentality in the state capitol, and then that threatens home rule. Do you agree that there is indeed a Tallahassee knows best mentality from our legislature? And if elected as a county commissioner, how would you work to establish a productive relationship with our delegation in Tallahassee to move things forward?
Well, number one, we have some fantastic candidates running for State House and State Senate. So I'm hoping that some people like Janet Cruz will be there. She is a fighter. And I'm hoping Ben Driscoll will get there. And we'll have some people who have a strong voice in Tallahassee for us. They care about the Tampa Bay area. They're going to try to bring some funds, well-needed funds to us. And they want to help us with stopping raiding the Sadowski Fund. That is a fund that was designed for affordable housing. So we need some strong help in Tallahassee so that we can have the funds we need for things like affordable housing. It is almost a crisis right now in the Tampa Bay area. So get out there and vote for some great candidates so we can change things from Tallahassee on down.
Great. So transportation. Last time we talked and had this interview, it was before the signatures came in. We were talking about if they would get enough signatures to get on the ballot. Well, they have, and we know now that the voters are going to be able to decide for the full cent sales tax increase to fund transportation needs in Hillsborough County. So I want to hear from you. Do you support that transportation sales tax increase of 1 cent over 30 years? And if so, what specific projects do you hope the MPO prioritizes in the near future to start helping our transportation issues in Hillsborough County?
First, let me say that I am so in favor of this initiative, primarily because it was a grassroots citizen initiative. They went out there, they got the signatures that they needed, and now if we can get this through, if we all go out and vote for it, it's going to be about $280 million that we can use towards transportation initiatives. And they understand that transportation is an economic driver. People who, once again, companies that are looking at the city, people like Vinnick who are bringing who have great visions for our city, they need transportation. And they are willing to put their might behind this issue. So being a native New Yorker, I've always been 100% for viable means of public transportation. I am for the CSX railways, I'm for express bus lanes, I'm for ferries, I'm for light rail. There's no initiative where you can move people safely and efficiently that I wouldn't be open to hearing about it and doing the best thing that we can. I'm working and getting it to be part of our city. Tampa is going to be great, and it's only going to be greater with good transportation options.
Absolutely. Sticking with transportation, I want to talk about the Metropolitan Planning Organizations, our MPOs. There's been a lot of discussions and studies whether it would make sense to merge our MPOs, potentially 3 counties coming together. These are federally mandated authorities that have planned the transportation and planning vision for our community. What are your thoughts on merging MPOs in our region?
Now, I've listened to both sides of this issue, and the devil is in the details. So we really, the idea of merging together and having regional decisions sounds really good, but we just want to make sure that we still have some local control. We still have a local voice from the Tampa Bay area. We want to make sure we have control over our funding and how we can make sure that Tampa Bay doesn't get left out of that. So as it becomes more transparent and we see exactly how this is going to work, I'm very open to it, but I really want to hold on to local control.
Affordable housing. If you are elected, you'll see at your county commission meetings that affordable housing advocates show up in strong numbers and they present some staggering statistics. You answered my first question, which was, are we at the brink of an affordable housing crisis? And you said that you feel like we are. If we are, what needs to happen, and what policy measures do we need to put in place at the county level to make sure we're addressing affordable housing in Hillsborough County?
Well, affordable housing is an issue that's near and dear to my heart because I raised my son as a single parent. I'm not even sure if I could afford some of the housing options that are available to you now, especially if you want to stay in a good area. I am for the Nehemiah Action Plan, which has requested the Board of County Commissioners to put away $10 million in a trust fund for affordable housing. That's probably the only way it's going to happen is if we specifically set aside funds that go towards affordable housing. And right now, if we could at least get that one thing done, it would be a big step in the right direction.
Perfect. So we've touched on several important policies. But before we wrap up, is there a priority that you have, that your campaign has, that we haven't discussed, that you want to make sure our viewers are able to see?
Well, I have given my campaign a name. It's called We the People, because I do feel that some of the commissioners that are on the board right now just don't have a heart for the people. And if you're taking money from developers, how can you make good decisions for your community, especially when it comes to housing? We've got a problem right now in Citrus Park where they want to put up a 300 apartment complex unit and move the upper Tampa Bay Trail. And that means they're going to destroy a lot of trees, which provides coverage to bikers and runners who use that trail. So and then they want to also have a 13,000 new homes outside of our urban service area on the other side of Fishhawk. These are decisions that are being made, I think, because the Board of County Commissioner has some people on there who, number one, don't want to get our impact fees, and they are just in the pocket of developers. So we need to change this, and we can if Tampa Bay voters get out there and vote. Look at the candidates. We have some great options. See you at the polls November the 6th.
Great. And where can our viewers learn more about your campaign? Okay.
AngelaBirdsong.com, very easy. My Facebook page is facebook.com/AngelaBirdsong4CC, that's FORCC. And you can call me, 813-476-4837. I love hearing from constituents.
Great, well, thank you for that. And on behalf of our 1,400 members of the Chamber and our Board of Directors, I want to thank you for joining us today, and thank you for your willingness to serve. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.